Today we're looking at 3 new modules by Boredbrain Music. We'll start with Unifx, which is an effects send and return designed to integrate guitar pedals, desktop effects and instruments, and Eurorack modules in either direction. Then we'll learn about Xchangr, a group of outputs and inputs that can bring line-level instruments of all kinds into the Eurorack environment and then send them back out, or allow for a whole host of mono or stereo external processing scenarios for your modules. Lastly, we'll spend some time with Monitr, a cleverly designed output module with integrated stereo VCAs, a headphone cue switch, main volume, and more. Let's jump in with Unifx first. Unifx is a bidirectional effects loop. You can use it to send modules out through pedals or desktop effects, or you can send desktop instruments into the modular. You make your selection with the pedals/Eurofx switch. Let's start with pedals, and send this sequence out to the Deep Space Devices dust. I love this pedal, and it'll be pretty obvious when it kicks in. The big knob is a wet-dry control, which lets you dial in the perfect amount of whatever pedal you decide to use. The mix jack allows for voltage control of the send. There are a lot of creative uses for this. We could use an envelope to accentuate the effect in certain places. LFOs are fun, and audio rate control is also a treat. Unifx also has a pretty fun trick up its sleeve. If you flip the pedals Eurofx switch to the wrong side, the module works as a feedback looper. In this configuration, the mix knob actually works backwards. All kinds of fun, especially when control voltage enters the equation. Your selection of effects pedals obviously has a huge influence on where Unifx will take you. Time-based effects are a lot of fun. And reverbs in the feedback looper configuration are a blast. Just make sure to manage your output volume levels a bit more carefully than I did here. The other use case to explore here is processing line-level instruments with Eurorack effects. Unifx takes all the hassle out of this scenario. For instance, here I'm processing the double knot with a make noise QPOS, and it's a total breeze to set up. If you're like me, your weirder effects exist in the rack, so being able to round-trip audio quickly from just about any source is a major win for creative flow. we could camp out here all day, but I can hear someone whispering, "What about stereo?" to themselves. So let's move on and talk about Xchangr. Xchangr at its core is a set of inputs and outputs that both convert between 1/4-inch and 1/8-inch jacks, and also handle standards conversion between Eurorack levels, line level, and instrument level. In other words, Xchangr handles all of the weird, frustrating studio crap that often gets in the way of making and recording music. Sometimes you just want to plug stuff in and have it work, and Xchangr is here for it. The result is that both line level and instrument level devices can play nicely with your modular. For example, here we've got a discrete stereo synth line going into send block number 1 on Xchangr. It's being attenuated down to instrument level, then heading out to tensor, which is a stereo looper and mangler. It then comes back into Xchangr and is amplified back to Euro levels and sent out for recording. It's worth noting that here I'm recording using my trusty optics, but in this configuration, nothing would stand in the way of using the remaining 2 send jacks as a final output, handy for smaller systems. And in a case full of wacky effects, Xchangr makes it easy to process line-level synths like this Prophet 6 with super fun, weird gear. Though it's natural to me to think of these as stereo sends and returns, you can use them however you like. There are really no rules here, it's just plain useful. This much smart I/O in this little space is a welcome addition to my rack and might be for yours as well. Finally, Monitr is here to help you manage all of this lovely audio and to output it to front of house, headphones, or your audio interface. It's a well-designed output module with separate channel level knobs, a final output knob with well-lit VU meters, and a headphone output with a handy Q switch that you can use to monitor either channel independently or both at the same time. This is extremely convenient in a performance setting, allowing you to check a separate submix, song, or instrument before bringing it up in the mains. Speaking of which, the main output has a mute switch as well, which is much appreciated. Being that the 2 main output channels are actually VCAs, Boredbrain has thoughtfully included jacks for voltage control. You can use these in a lot of fun ways. One of my personal favorites is as a voltage-controlled reverb send. I love a good, useful output module, and Monitr certainly checks all the right boxes. If you found this video helpful, you can like or subscribe, but as always, what I'd really love for you to do instead is go play some music until you feel good about stuff, or at least a little bit better. But thanks for stopping by, we'll see you next time.